Hi, my name is Taylor Alexandra Sands. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I took the on-site TEFL class in Chicago, and now I live in Guadalajara, Jalisco, which is in Mexico. Before I became an English teacher in Mexico, I studied elementary education at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and I was a waitress at a pretty popular Chicago restaurant. So, like I said, I'm an American from Chicago. I'm 25 years old. I have a bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and I'm a certified teacher in the state of Illinois. In the past, I've traveled only on vacation with my family. I've been to Mexico before, to Cancun, like everybody, and I've also been to France, so that's great. I really wanted to teach English abroad because, well, one, I really had a hard time finding a teaching job in Chicago, and so I figured what better time to try my luck abroad, and here I am in Mexico. Okay, and okay. The reason that I chose the International TEFL Academy is, they have such an amazing program that they offer. And my advisor, Christy, was always there to answer questions for me, even before I signed up for the program. And I was concerned about the cost of the program, and she told me about these discounts that they offered. And the big selling point for me is it was about a 15-minute train ride from my house. So, it was so easy to get to every day. And once I was there, I knew I had picked the right program because the staff was so friendly, the teachers were so knowledgeable, and I really got to go through the program with a really great group of people. My TEFL training has helped me a lot in my classes. When I first got here, I was given a kindergarten class, so my students are very young. I have experience teaching children, but never kindergarten-age children, so that was a challenge. And I remember the first day I got my students, I emailed to my old instructors and I said, okay, where do I start, And they sent me emails back right away. It was so helpful and so nice to have that because I was a little bit lost when I first got here. But also, throughout the TEFL program, I was able to learn how to really communicate with adults, which is something that I've never had experience in before. So that was fantastic. The practicum part of the TEFL course is so important because it really, really helps you get comfortable in front of people, especially if you've never taught before. Okay, so I am teaching in Guadalajara, which is in Jalisco, which is in Mexico. Before coming here, I did not speak any Spanish, literally none. I studied French for 5 years, and I knew hola, ¿cómo estás? So I moved to Mexico because I really wanted to learn Spanish, because as a teacher in Chicago, it's very helpful if you can also speak Spanish. The city here is beautiful. It's a mixture of old and new. You can walk down a block and feel like you've gone back in time 50 years, but then you have modern buildings and all these modern conveniences. It's amazing. There's so much to do around the city. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's museums. It's just amazing. I think my favorite part of living here is there's this market in Central, which is the downtown area, and it's called San Juan de Dios, and it's this giant indoor market where you can get food and clothes and everything. And the coolest part is that you get to haggle with people. I was really shy at first, especially because my Spanish is still a little hard to understand, even after living here for 7 months. But it's so much fun once you finally are able to haggle with someone, like, oh, well, actually, I don't want to pay that much. How about this? And you go back and forth, and it's really great. So it's nice teaching here because I have the ability to teach during the day with children, and then at night I teach adults. So I found my job using the International TEFL Academy job search index. I pretty much went through the database that the school had compiled and emailed every school in Mexico, even the ones that weren't in Guadalajara, even though that's where I knew I wanted to go. So all in all, I emailed about 50 schools, and I got a good amount of responses, maybe 5 or 6. And so I set up interviews and over Skype, and I got to practice with my advisor on things to say and questions to make sure I ask, because I got offered a job in a northern state of Mexico, which I had heard was a little bit dangerous, so I wasn't sure about it, and my advisor really helped me ask all the right questions so that I made a really informed decision. She also looked at my cover letter and my resume, and she just really, really helped me and made me feel like I had a person I could talk to when I was really unsure about what to do. Also, when I got my job offer, I emailed her all the details and I said, hey, does this look like a good thing, or should I wait, or should I ask for more money? Like, what are we going to do? So, let me tell you about my job. So I have a few jobs, but my primary job is I work at the Vancouver Language Center. It's in a really good location. I am the preschool and kinder teacher. I have 5 students. One is 2, one is 3, 2 are 4, and 1 is 5. So it's a big age difference, and they're all very young. And when I first got into the classroom, they didn't understand a word of English. But now, I mean, they understand everything that I say, which is so great about working with such young children because they pick up things like that. The school that I work for it's great. I mean, they took control of all of my visa problems. I did have some issues with my visa because when I came into Mexico, there was some problems, but eventually my school got it all straightened out, and now I have my visa, which is great. Let's see, what else about my job? I have my own classroom with these little tables and chairs, and it's just a really great time. I also teach adults in the evenings on Thursdays and Tuesdays. I found that job through just another woman. English teachers in Guadalajara are a hot commodity. So when you start to speak Spanish and you speak it a little funny, they ask you, oh, where are you from? And you tell them, oh, I'm an American. Oh, are you on vacation? Are you studying? And when you tell them you're a teacher, they're like, oh my goodness. So I've gotten so many students just from handing out my email address and telling, giving my rates, and they're like, oh great, can we set up some classes? And it's been really fun that way. So that's my job. I will say about your visa, I started the process in July 2013, and I just got my visa last month. So it is a process, and the best thing to do is really stay on immigration because, they have hundreds and hundreds of requests to process, and it's a bit complicated, especially if you are like me and have a hard time with the language. So that's about visas. About my apartment, I live in a small apartment with one person. It's got 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen. I have my own bathroom. I found my apartment using a website that one of the teachers at my school gave me. I must have looked at tons of apartments, and I was really looking for something where I would be able to walk to my job because the bus system here is a bit crazy and very overwhelming at first. So, yeah, I found my roommate online, and we interviewed, and we get along pretty well. He's also an English teacher and a musician, so that's cool. I get to listen to all sorts of jazzy kind of music. So, my most memorable experience about living abroad. Well, that would definitely have to be the buses. They are crazy. You have to hail them like a cab, and there's not really bus stops. It's more like empty driveways that everybody kind of agrees on to be a bus stop, and you literally have to put your arm out and hail it, and they still deal in coins here, so you have to have change, and the buses are all stick shift, like all the cars here mostly, and so you have a bus driver who's on one hand talking on the phone, but driving a stick shift, going in a crazy roundabout. I mean, it took a long time for me to get comfortable on the buses because they're so crazy. But once you do, it's like, oh, I feel like a local now. It's so much fun. So, advice about teaching abroad. That's easy. Do your research. It's very exciting when you get your first job, when someone offers you a job, but it doesn't mean you have to take it right away. I love my job, but I do wish I would have done more research into it and really realized what a fair or a livable wage was here in Mexico, because for the amount of money that I make at my school, it's about $540 a month before taxes. So after taxes, it's like $480 a month. So it's enough to live on here, but I'm not able to save anything, and I have to live very cheaply. So I also teach at night in order to supplement my income, which is a big help, and most teachers here have to do that. It's not like Asia or other places like that where you make so much money. They didn't really offer me anything. My housing wasn't included. My airfare was not included. And they don't really give you any, my school didn't really give me any direction. It was kind of, okay, well, here's your job, and you have to find everything yourself, which is really fun on one hand, but also if you're the kind of person who needs to have everything planned, it's a bit challenging. So I just say, do your research. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions like, how much money are you going to give me? Are you going to give me an allowance? Are you going to help me find somewhere to live? Because those are really, really important questions. And also safety questions. A lot of people in my life were concerned about me moving to Mexico because they think of, drug cartels and dangerous things. And that's a lot of preconceived notions. And you have to really take those into account because that's not all of Mexico. And it's a beautiful country with a really rich history. And it's just an amazing place to live. And I'm so glad that I did it and didn't listen to anybody who was like, oh, you're going to get hurt. It's dangerous. Everywhere is dangerous. You just have to be smart and know where to go and where not to go. And after a few months of living in any city, you know the layout a bit, I would also recommend getting your hands on as many grammar books as possible because I thought I knew English grammar, but I have learned so much by teaching, and sometimes your students ask you questions and you're literally scratching your head going, I have no idea what the answer to that question is. I just don't. And then it's kind of awkward, but luckily I have some great students who we always laugh about it. So, in my free time, I just love to dance, and there are so many places. There's salsa, bachata, merengue, cumbia. I mean, anything you could want. Plus, they have a lot of like dance clubs where they play popular music, stuff you would hear in the States. And usually they don't have too bad of a cover here. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to $20 covers or $25 covers, and here it's cheap, and you can have a really good time for not a lot of money if you know where to go. I also love to go eat Mexican food, which is great because the food here is unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I'm from Chicago, and we have Mexican food too, but the food here is just top notch. It's amazing, and in my free time, I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite things to do is just try different kinds of things and go to the markets and get food from off the street. People always say, be careful, you don't know what's in it, but I think it's all part of the fun, What's that random piece of meat on a stick? Oh, okay, looks good, I'll have some. Or trying to talk to people and then they ask where you're from and it's a big long conversation. And for me, my Spanish still after living here is not very good, so I use a lot of grand gestures to talk to people, and you make friends that way, and it's really great. Speaking of friends, I have some great friends here. Oddly enough, most of my friends are not Mexican. When I first moved here, I was staying in a hostel until I found my apartment, and I met a bunch of people from Europe, France, Germany, the Czech Republic, everywhere. So the two gals that I hang out with a lot here are both from France. I'm from small towns in France, and they are hilarious. And they've both been living here about 2 years, so they know the city, and they were able to help me with a lot of things. And they both speak really great Spanish, so they're able to help me when, we're at a restaurant and someone's asking me a question and I just have no idea what they're saying. Or, just in general, figuring out the city. Also, I have the pleasure of working with some amazing teachers who have become my friends. And I couldn't ask for better coworkers. And by that same token, I teach a group of girls who are my age on Tuesday nights, and they have become some of my best friends. And it's just an amazing experience just to meet new people and be able to learn all about them and all about their culture, and it's really fun. So, so I think that's about it. I would just like to say that I am so grateful for this experience that I've been able to have, and I'm so happy that the International TEFL Academy, I filled out a form, a year before I took the class, and they were very persistent, and I like that because it really gave me that push to go, because, it was like on a whim, maybe I'll do it, I can't really find a teaching job, but do I really want to move to a new country? Am I brave enough for that? And the answer is yes, you are brave enough for that. No matter if you think you can't, yes you can, because it's an amazing experience, and I think that everyone should do it at least once in their life. So, okay, thanks, bye!